The speedrun categories for Super Mario Sunshine can be broken down into 3 different tier levels. Up at the top, we have the main leaderboards. These are the most competitive categories. In a tier below that, we have the category extensions, which are on a separate leaderboard but still a part of speedrun.com. While there's more categories listed here, they're substantially less popular. Finally, in the lowest tier, we have every officially documented category with less than 5 runners. These categories are either one-off jokes or just never interested many people, but one of these categories is here for an entirely different reason, in that it's too difficult for the vast majority of people to even complete. Allow me to let you in on the legendarily absurd speedrun, Percent PrePeach. First of all, what does the term max percent actually mean? Isn't that the same thing as 100%? Well, sometimes. It depends on both the game and the context it's used in. In the max percent speedrun of Luigi's Mansion, you have to collect as much money as possible. Let's say that theoretically, someone discovers a brand new coin, making 5,000 more Gs possible to collect. If you completed a 10-hour run collecting this much money, then you would have the world record. The amount of money collected takes priority over how long it takes to do it. Max percents and low percents are 2 sides of the same coin. So, is it blasphemous to discuss max percents on a channel called lowest percents? Absolutely. Like I mentioned earlier, context also matters. The second part of this category name sets a restriction. Pre-Peach is short for pre-Peach getting kidnapped. Spoiler alert. In Super Mario Sunshine, Peach gets kidnapped by Shadow Mario as soon as you unlock the statue in Delfino Square, which is normally the first thing you would do after arriving in Delfino Plaza. So putting it all together, max percent pre-Peach means collecting the most amount of stuff as quickly as possible before Peach ever gets kidnapped. Stuff includes blue coins in addition to shine sprites, even though the Tanuki hut where you trade them in isn't available yet. But in order to talk about max percent pre-Peach, I mostly have to focus on its weird older brother, max percent Pacifist. At the tail end of 2017, max percent Pacifist spawned from a bit of a meme by Sunshine speedrunning legend Stelzig. What's the most amount of stuff you can collect without harming any creatures? By the way, any category that doesn't actually complete the game, such as 20 shines, always starts from what's known as a race file. A race file begins in Delfino Plaza with the airstrip shine already collected and the intro cutscenes out of the way. This is important because otherwise a pacifist run wouldn't be able to progress past airstrip since the game forces you to defeat this polluted piranha plant. Stelzig and some other community members began laying out the ground rules. There was some controversy about whether or not slinging the chomplets in Pianta Village Episode 1 was considered harmful. Stelzig concluded that slinging chomplets into the river is helping them, but slinging them into the wall is harmful and therefore not allowed. Remember, this is pacifist, so be sure to not jump on those goobas. Heck, you might have 2 goobas coming after you. Spraying birds is also off limits, but ground pounding a box is a-okay since it's just dead trees anyways. The main limiting factor of this category is that you can never unlock the Delfino Square statue because of its creature harming requirements. Apparently, Mario Sunshine is a remarkably violent game. So let's quickly cover everything that was known to be possible for max percent Pacifist. Pianta Village, despite being the last level you're intended to go to, is available from the very start. The only barrier to entry is climbing the shine gates without the rocket nozzle. Believe it or not, this is actually the easiest point in the game to accomplish this. Delfino Plaza cycles through a few subtly different maps as you unlock new levels or trigger major story events. In the first Plaza map, you can wall kick off the surface. This collision permanently changes after Peach gets kidnapped. The collision in this map is pretty buggy in general because, Pianta 1 is fine as long as you send the chomplets directly into the water. Episode 4 is also controversial, but considered fair for the same reason as Episode 1. Episode 5 is the next major roadblock. You're required to use Yoshi to unlock a secret entrance, but we don't have Yoshi unlocked yet. That's where Yoshi Skip comes into play. This not-so-solid tree allows you to clip into the underside of this mushroom. The Chuckster secret is a-okay as long as you don't jump in any Pianta's heads, because that hurts. We can also obtain the Episode 5 red coin variation, the 100 coin shine, and Episode 6. The Episode 7 shine is unobtainable because it requires harming Shadow Mario. 26 of the 30 blue coins are possible, all except for the 2 beehives, the butterflies, and the bluebird. The remaining things have to all be collected in the initial states of Delfino Plaza. Even though the Serena Whenever clip exists, the Serena Beach loading zone isn't there yet. Guess we should rename this trick to Serena Whenever, except for right now. There's a couple freebies like the slide secret pipe and the secret beach shine. The tall grass secret is off limits because various creatures have to be killed for red coins. We can reach the left bell by doing a spin jump from a nearby tower. The shine itself is also pretty easy to reach. Even though the boats aren't moving yet, we can still access the pachinko machine with a well-timed hover and a ground pound for some extra height. The 100 coin shine is also possible. You could painstakingly spray every poster, window, and rooster, or you could work smart, not hard. When you collect a shine sprite in Delfino Plaza or a secret stage that's linked to Delfino Plaza, your total coin count carries over. So the best way to collect 100 coins is to collect 50 quick sewer coins, collect a shine sprite, then 50 more sewer coins. The shine itself is a bit tedious to get to, but a wall kick hover will barely reach. The chuckster, who normally chucks you into the building, isn't there yet, so here's where we have to start getting a little bit creative. Many great things can be achieved by using fruit. Do a backflip and throw a banana, and we no longer have to use the chuckster. Put a papaya by this wall and you get that one. Slide down a wall and throw a coconut when you hit this ledge, and before you know it, you're in the cop secret. Although, you have to do the secret with the hover nozzle rather than the turbo nozzle, which makes things a little more intense. The box breaking minigame isn't available yet, so sadly that's 2 potential shines down the drain. Otherwise, it seems that any remaining shine is just out of reach. Moving on to blue coins. There's of course the freebies like the one in this room, 3 M graffitis, and the 3 different locations in the sewer. It's possible to obtain both of the blue coins behind orange jelly without using Yoshi. For the first one, you can simply hover into the side of this building. The second one is a bit trickier, starting with the setup to get to the cop secret. From this tiny area, you can do a spin jump hover and barely gain enough heights to ground pound up to a ledge and reach the blue coin. You see this guy? He's doing just fine, but later in the game you rescue him from a fire to get a blue coin. So the question becomes, how do you rescue a person that doesn't need any rescuing? Well, by manually extending the goop, we can sort of bring the danger to him. It's still entirely pacifist because it's not our fault he didn't watch his step. After he drowns himself in goop, that's when you swoop into the rescue and he'll reward you with the blue coin for your act of heroism. The 4 fruit ladies and the 2 X graffitis aren't there yet. We also can't spray the 2 bluebirds since that goes against pacifist rules. Lastly, we didn't know of any way to obtain the blue coin behind the turbo gate on this island. The only barrier to accessing 3 other shines was that we had no means of gaining enough heights. But this barrier wouldn't last for long. A couple months later in February, Goldfire711 discovered an exploit using hangable ceilings. So, what exactly happened there? You see, the banana that was originally used for clipping into the building continues to slide down this ramp. While you're hanging from the ceiling inside the building, the sliding banana can slowly displace your position. Whenever Mario is in a hanging state, the game assumes that any ceiling above him must be hangable, so it ultimately snaps Mario to the ceiling of the map. With this newfound knowledge, the Shine Gate, Lighthouse, and Right Bell Tower shines are finally attainable. Great news for max percent pacifist, right? Yeah, if falling for over an hour to get a single shine sprite is your cup of tea. To make things even worse, you actually have to do this twice for the Lighthouse shine. Once to break the block, then again to collect the shine itself. It's not the most elegant solution, but a solution regardless. So that just leaves the mystery of Lily Pad Shine early. There was already a known method that involves storing the text of failing the box minigame. Again, that box game is not available yet, so there would have to be some other way. This is where a runner named Orange comes into play. Orange is extremely talented at tinkering with all sorts of objects and mechanics to discover things in Mario Sunshine. One of his first major discoveries came on August 30th, 2018. Finally, PrePeach Lily Pad. He was able to accomplish this by setting a barrel in a very specific spot and then jumping onto it a very specific way. This is about as specific as a trick can get. Sometimes you'll be jumping at this barrel for ages and it just never wants to work. The lily pad secret you do afterwards is merely the cherry on top. So shockingly, nobody actually wanted to play this category. It would maybe be acceptable if you only had to do 1 ceiling up warp, but 4 is a bit much. Not to mention, missing one of these shines would cost you over an hour. The new goal was to find more reasonable methods for collecting these 3 shines. Technically, the lighthouse already had its own method. Infinite wall kicking had been known to be possible since Kenny Cola did this in 2015, but only a handful of players had the patience to master this technique. Most of this surface cannot be wall kicked from except for a tiny sliver, a sliver just wide enough to gain heights with infinite wall kicking. First, you slowly gain enough heights to break the block on top of the lighthouse. Then, you do the exact same thing again and eventually collect the shine sprites. That's 2 hour-plus time saves down, and 2 to go. On October 12th, a player named Speedrunners just finished a Mario Sunshine Lockout Bingo match. During the post-match Discord call, Speedrunners was having the time of his life with some barrels and boxes when suddenly BAM! Teleporting barrel for some reason. SB had just stumbled upon barrel stacking. Barrels have an internal flag that says whether or not they're held or put down by Mario. For some reason, picking up a barrel that's previously been held doesn't cause the flag to become false again, so the game still thinks the barrel isn't being held. When going over an object, such as a box, the barrel tries to stay in the same place relative to that object. Visually, you're still holding the barrel, but setting it down snaps it to where you were at the moment you crossed over the object that you're standing on. At first, this trick was seen as nothing more than a mildly amusing glitch among many other pointless glitches in Mario Sunshine. A major breakthrough came on October 18th when Nokidoki tweeted a video of barrel stacking's first useful application. If you can infinite wall kick onto the shine gate with a barrel in hand, this should save over an hour in max percent pacifist. You need to pick up a barrel 2 times, infinite wall kick to the top of the shine gate, spin jump so the peak of your jump happens right when you cross over the top of the box, land on the box, then set the barrel down. Repeat that whole thing again, but start your spin jump from the first barrel that you placed. Cross over the top of the box at a relatively high point in that jump, land on the box again, and set that barrel down. Head back to the top, and if both of your barrel placements are practically perfect, you can just barely reach the shine gate shine. It's pretty absurd, but think of all that time you can save. Only one shine remains to be solved, the right bell tower. According to Nokidoki, it wasn't looking too good. There's a convenient box that's pretty close to the tower, but the shine was still pretty much out of reach. This was the tipping point for Shadow Mario 27, who was the first person brave enough to attempt max percent pacifist. He collected everything he possibly could without harming any creatures in 2 hours, 18 minutes, and 53 seconds. Over half of it was spent free-falling into the right bell tower shine. This absolute mad lad even changed his anime split background like 9 different times, which by the way, is the secret to Shadow Mario's power. October 26th might have been the most important day for PrePeach discoveries as we know them. It all started with Orange finding brand new manhole cover tech. To set this up, you first put a manhole cover into an intangible state. Some of you watching may have even done this by complete accident at some point. Here's a simple way to achieve this. It's important that you start by standing on top of the cover. The cover has a different collision model when it's bobbing up and down versus just kinda sitting there. After ground pounding into the sewers, exit as soon as you possibly can. Shortly after exiting, begin hovering directly over the manhole cover by occasionally tapping back on the control stick. Continue hovering until the camera pans back into normal position. At this point, you can fall right through the cover. Well, for the most part. You actually land on the cover for exactly 1 frame as you fall through it. If you manage to time a jump during this 1 frame window, you're essentially doing a full sewer jump from the top of a manhole cover. But Orange was just getting started. He theorized that getting this jump from the manhole outside of Corona Mountain can give you just enough height to reach the shine gate shine. Unfortunately, setting up the intangibility the usual way doesn't work. There's simply too much space between the cover and the sewer floor to jump into it quick enough. Thankfully, Nokidoki figured out a cheeky alternative method for setting up the glitch. There's a steep slope next to this manhole cover you can actually clip through by doing a well-timed fruit throw. By hovering over to the sewer area, you touch the cover during this flipping animation much sooner and can set up the glitch extremely fast. After that, all he had to do was time a cover jump. A clean, barrel-less method of getting the shine gate shine early. To Zalpiku Kirby, who had also been trying to figure out a right bell setup, it begged the question, what if you utilized barrel stacking and cover jumping together? Would the world even be ready for such a powerful combination? Later that day, and yes, it's still October 26th, Zalpiku Kirby tweeted out a LOTAD. LOTAD stands for Low Optimization Tool Assisted Demonstration, essentially a gameplay recording made with the help of save states and rewinds with the intent of proving that something is theoretically possible. What this LOTAD proved is that a much faster right bell shine was finally possible. If by much faster you mean hopefully under an hour, and by possible you mean utterly ridiculous.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
The LOTAD makes it look easy, but you have to cross over the top of this tiny box in just the right way after doing a frame-perfect trick, then do it again except you precisely land on a glitchy barrel that you previously placed, then have to place a second glitchy barrel in just the right way as well. There's an insanely thin margin of error for reaching the shine sprite, but it's possible, and that is all that matters. So one day, Shadow Mario 27 thought that avoiding enemies and the chomplet thing was kinda stupid, so sometime in early 2019 it was split into two different categories. Max Percent PrePeach is finally born. This made a few more things possible to collect, including the 2 bluebirds in Delfino Plaza, 1 bluebird in Piazza Village, Tall Grass Secret, Piazza 7, Piazza 8, and Piazza Hidden. This brings the total counts to 25 shines and 39 blue coins. On May 6th, Orange found a much more consistent lily pad early setup using a banana. Afterwards, he even did his own attempts of Max Percent Pacifist and got the first sub 2 hour time. He still used the freefall method for right bell tower because the barrel stacking thing is pretty dang tedious. No one had actually ran the pre-peach category yet, but that's probably for the best because the final piece of the puzzle had yet to be unlocked. Remember that blue coin behind the turbo gates that was thought to be impossible? Orange figured that out as well on June 11th. To this day, that is the maximum number of shines and blue coins that are known to be possible before Peach ever gets kidnapped. The discovery of this blue coin inspired Noki Doki to attempt the first ever speedruns of Max Percent PrePeach as we currently know it. He managed to get a 19-minute right bell segment with barrel stacking, a tragedy to the untrained eye, but in actuality, one of his better times on that segment. He closed out his run with the most recent blue coin discovery and achieved a 106 in Max Percent PrePeach. The entirety of this run is faster than doing a single freefall strat, so the category has come a long way. The last thing worth noting is that on September 28, 2019, Orange completed an unofficial sub-hour run of Max Percent PrePeach. He performed this run with speed and position codes active to keep tabs on his vertical speed value. After cleaning off the right bell and spawning the shine, he begins by making the hidden manhole cover on the beach intangible for later use. He then stores a quick burst of vertical speed by side flip diving into a banana. Before doing any of this, he placed a barrel on a specific part of the shoreline. There's a quirk with water physics where the transition into water doubles your speed before tapering off into swimming speed. Orange took advantage of this doubling by grabbing a barrel 1 frame after entering water. Grabbing the barrel at just the right time causes Mario to no longer be swimming but in a state of standing underwater. He can then sidestep back out of the water to attempt this again and gain even more vertical speed. As long as your only movements are from sidestepping or changing your angle with the Y camera, you'll maintain your vertical speed value. Finally, because he made the beach manhole cover intangible, he can then use it as a ledge to unleash his speed and grab the right bell tower shine in glorious, non-barrel stacking fashion. Even though he was able to pull this off in real time, you could imagine it's nearly impossible without being able to see how much speed you've stored. It's theoretically possible, but definitely in the realm of total crapshoot until more reliable setups are found. Orange's 58-minute run may not be legitimate, but honestly, it doesn't matter. Max Percent PrePeach isn't meant to be a competitive speedrun, but a showcase of the crazy things that are possible while Peach is still perfectly safe. For now. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to Lowest Percents and feel free to check out my personal YouTube channel, AverageTreyVG. Peace.